Welcome back, beautiful, beloved souls. My name is Gem Stone, and I'm a psychic medium, and I'm an author. And on this channel, you will find various content. I don't fit a particular niche. I look at anything and everything through a lens, hence the name of the channel. Now, before we start this video, I want to set the tone properly. This video isn't about tearing anyone down. It's about understanding why certain claims grow, why people believe them, and why they spread so powerfully. And yes, I'm going to mention Elizabeth April in this video, not because I dislike her, not because I'm jealous, but because she's a clear example of something much bigger. She has a very large audience, hundreds of thousands of people across platforms. And just yesterday, I watched a video where a man introduced her as the best remote viewer ever. Now, when someone is given a title like that, they're no longer sharing ideas. They're making a claim. And once a claim is that big, it's completely fair to ask questions. Now, before I go any further, I need to be clear about where I stand. I channel. I've always been open about that. I believe consciousness is far more complex than we understand. I believe there may be other intelligences, even extraterrestrial life. But I have never claimed I am speaking to specific aliens, I have special protection, or that I am 100% accurate. In fact, I've always said the opposite. I am not 100% accurate because I'm human, and humans filter everything through belief, through experience, through bias. So, here's the question that led me to make this video. Why do some people add aliens to their information? Not just intuition, not just insight, but full narratives, galactic federations, alien councils, interference from bad entities, protection from good ones. Why does it evolve to that level? So I did what I always do. I sat down and I channeled, not to attack anyone, not to expose anyone, but to understand, to ask, what is actually going on here? And I'm going to read my channeling. Here goes. Please bear with me. So, Monday, the 30th of the 3rd to 2/26, I asked Elizabeth April on YouTube/social media, why the outrageous claims? Answer. Welcome, Gem. We can reveal she knows she has wild claims. Elizabeth as a little girl, saw herself as special, and she can look at spirituality from the lens of feeling chosen. As a woman, making claims and becoming noticed sent message she was doing what she believed she was born to do. So I said, is it her imagination? Not exactly. She has believed she was special from her being able to see things that many others cannot. Although she can see into parts, like for example, she did score well guessing some random points. However, when it comes to speaking to an alien council, Elizabeth has stretched the storyline because there are no aliens meeting. So I asked, is she in contact with aliens? Answer, no, she is not. Her abilities are similar to trained psychics who intuit world events. She has invented the aliens to make her predictions appear more important, especially for followers who want story. So I said, so a lie? Same lies as told by many famous psychics and remote viewers. All found they were quite similar. So I said, why? I channel and I don't say I visit alien meetings. Answer, when a person becomes famous, there is expectations that every time they speak about an event, that having an alien connection allows the message to not be able to deny. You, on the other side, when you state, I predict or speak about things, it is easy for your audience to test you. But if aliens are the entities behind that message, how it is unfalsifiable, whereas you can be proven wrong. So I said, I'll stop here just asking what these people are gifted, but adding aliens enhances that gift, even made up. Answer, part of adding aliens is to do predictions without being wrong. And the major part is that aliens are real. And because they exist, stating one is part alien or has regular alien contact is to be special. And it cannot be disproven. If one looked at DNA, all psychics have actually abilities been endowed with alien DNA. So even your DNA is alien. We spoke of that in your first book, Channeled. You from a baby have been abducted, and this is how one's genes are activated. Elizabeth was also abducted, so she became very intuitive, but it is a story to add layers to her remote viewing sessions. She doesn't meet alien council. Her predictive accuracy is like every other less than 65% accuracy. Accuracy just doesn't depend on what you filter, but on how important you see yourself. Always remain humble that you are human and biases come through. With love, we say goodbye. I'll just show you very quickly my writing. Now this is writing, not my normal writing. This is when I channel. All right, so let's talk about what came through, because there were some very clear themes. First, the idea of being special, that this can begin very early in life. A feeling of seeing things others don't, understanding things others can't. And over time, that identity grows. It becomes part of who you are. Then there was something else, and this part is really important. Accuracy. What came through was not 100%. It was closer to what I've always believed, around 65%. Because no matter how intuitive someone is, we are still filtering information through a human mind. And that introduces biases, always. But here's where it gets really interesting. The channeling suggested that when someone becomes known, when they build an audience, there's an expectation. People don't just want insight anymore. They want certainty, authority, bigger answers. And this is where things can shift. Because if I make a prediction, you can test me. You can say, that was right, or that was wrong. And I have to live with that. But if someone says, aliens told me this, now something changes, because you can't test that. You can't verify it. You can't challenge the source. It becomes unfalsifiable. And that's powerful because it removes the risk. If it's right, it validates the claim. If it's wrong, there was interference. There is no losing position in that system. Now, I want to be very fair here. This doesn't necessarily mean someone is lying. What came through in my channeling was actually more nuanced than that. It suggested something else, that a person can genuinely believe what they are saying, especially if they've had unusual experiences, they felt different from a young age, and they've built an identity around that. And when you combine that with an audience, something else happens. The story expands, not always intentionally, but gradually. Intuition becomes, I receive information. That becomes, I receive guidance. That becomes, I receive guidance from specific beings. And eventually, I am in contact with advanced alien groups? Now let me bring this back to something very simple. If someone claims they are the best, they are 100% accurate. They are in contact with higher intelligences. Then it's reasonable to ask for a higher level of scrutiny. Not hate, not attack, just questions. Because truth should be able to handle questions. It shouldn't need protection from them. And I'll finish with, my channeling ended with a line that I think applies to all of us, including me. Always remain humble. You are human, and biases come through. That, to me, is the difference. Not who is right, not who is more gifted, but who is willing to say, I might be wrong. All right, that's my perspective. Take from it what feels right to you. Question everything, including me. And thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate any and every view I get. Please be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Love, light, and blessings. And I just want to show you again, this book has made of leather, and in it is automatic writing when I channel. All right, have a good Monday. I'll see you in a few days' time. I have an appointment tomorrow, so it'll be a few days. Bye.